Hello students, and thank you for clicking this video to get started on your lesson for today. This is your daily video just guiding you through the different steps for the lesson and giving you all of the instructions you need. For today, you really need to watch this entire video in full in order to be able to know what you're doing. So make sure you don't pause halfway through and try to just do it on your own because you're going to end up getting confused. Please just follow this video all the way through. So today we're learning about the CREE response. Something I want you to notice on this page is we've got this lovely listening ear. Anytime you see this listening ear on a page, that means you don't need to worry about writing anything down or doing any work. You just need to be sitting and listening to what I'm saying. If there's a slide where I want you to pause the video and go actually do something, I'm going to tell you to do it, and you're also not going to see this listening ear. So if you see a slide without this listening ear, that lets you know it's time for you to pause, actually do some work on your worksheet. First, let's go over our objective. So you still got this listening ear, you're gonna stay on the video. Objective, I can prepare for a class discussion on characterization in the story of Arachne and Athena by planning my answer to a question. Our agenda, we only really have two things on our plan today. First, your do now, which you're gonna get to in a second. Then you're gonna write your response. All right, so in your do now box, you're gonna see something that looks like this. You see a couple of notes on the CREE response method and then some highlighted blanks. On the next slide, I'm gonna go over these steps and then I'm gonna give you an opportunity to pause the video, delete these little underlined things, and write the words that appear highlighted on the next page. It'll make sense when we go through it, you'll see. All right, so you still see the listening ear on this page. That means that you shouldn't be switching to your document quite yet because the listening ear is still here. You should still be just listening while I go through these notes, and then I will give you the opportunity to shift and actually fill in the blanks. So the CREE response is an acronym. It stands for claim, reason, evidence, and explanation, because those are the four things that I want you to have in your written response. The first thing is your claim. Your claim is where you make a statement about what you believe. Then we go into our reason. Your reason is your explanation of why you think what you think. Usually when someone's giving their reason, you'll see them use the word because that's a great way of indicating that you're explaining the why behind your claim. Next, we've got evidence. That should be familiar. That's a quote from the text that supports your answer. Whenever you're including evidence, make sure you have quotation marks and a page number. That's key. Finally, you've got your explanation, where you're writing a sentence explaining how the quote supports your answer. Okay, now that we've gone through it out loud, on our next page, the listening ear is gone, and that means it's time for you to pause this video, fill in the blanks in your do now with the highlighted words. Go ahead and pause this video so you can do that. Come back and hit play when you're ready to move on. Okay, great job with your do now. Let's keep it moving. If you scroll down to the next page of your document, you're going to see a space for you to do your CREE analysis. Up here, you'll see your prompt. Your prompt is, in the conflict between Arachne and Athena, whose side are you on? Who do you think was right? That's the prompt that you're going to be answering as we go through this. But because I can't answer the same prompt as you, then I just be giving away the answer. I'm answering a slightly different prompt. So my prompt is, in the conflict between Prometheus and Pandora, whose side are you on? Who do you think was right? So you're focusing on Arachne and Athena, but I'm focusing on Prometheus and Pandora from an earlier story we read. So the first thing that I'm gonna do is I'm gonna write my claim. Remember that your claim is a sentence explaining what you believe. So I'm trying to decide who's right, Prometheus and Pandora. The sentence I wrote was, in the story of Prometheus and Pandora, I think that Prometheus was on the right side and Jupiter was being selfish. That's what I believe. You should, in your, right under where it says make your claim, you should be writing a sentence where you explain who do you think was right, Arachne or Athena. All right, now the listening ear is gone. It's time for you to pause the video, go write your claim sentence on your digital worksheet, come back when you have your claim. If you're having a hard time coming up with the claim, please call me or text me. I'm more than happy to help you. My number is at the top of the page. All right. In order to be on track, your paper should look like this. You should have your own writing under where it says make your claim on your paper, but everything else should be blank right now. All right, our next step is our reason. We have two steps to go through when we're trying to write our reason. First, you're explaining what you believe in 2 to 3 sentences. Your reason should be longer than 1 sentence. It should take you a couple of sentences to go through every part of why you believe what you believe. In your reason, you should make sure you're using that word because that's a good way of signaling to your reader that you're explaining the why behind your claim. All right, so this is my example of what I did for my reason when I was writing my response. So I wrote, I think that Prometheus was right because his motivations were good. He wanted to help human beings live the best possible life. Jupiter, on the other hand, was selfish and just wanted to keep his power. Jupiter did not care about helping anyone other than himself. I want you to notice 2 things about my response. First, I use that word because, just like I told you to. Second, I have 3 whole sentences here. I really explained what I meant in detail. I didn't just do it in 1 sentence. All right, now it's going to be your turn to switch to your digital worksheet and write your reason. Make sure if you're having any trouble coming up with your reason, you give me a call or text me. I'm here to help. Your turn to pause the video, go write your reason. All right, thank you for coming back. In order for you to be on track, you should have your own writing under where it says make your claim on your paper, and you should have your own writing underneath where it says give your reasons on your paper. In order for you to be on track, you should have both of those things done at this point. Our next step is to include evidence. So we have a couple of different steps we need to go through in order to find our evidence and include it in our writing. The first thing we need to do is find the part of the story that best supports your response. So think of a part of the story that really stands out to you as explaining why Arachne was in the right or explaining why Athena was in the right. Then you're going to reread that part of the story. Within the part that you reread, you're going to find the strongest quote that supports your answer. Then finally, you're going to copy and paste that quote with quotation marks and a page number. Make sure you don't forget those last little things. So what I did when I was doing this for my prompt is I remembered at the beginning of the story, because in my answers I talked a lot about Prometheus's motivation. And I remembered the part at the beginning of the story when Prometheus is asking Jupiter to give the humans fire. And I remembered that he really explained in detail why he thought it was a good idea there. So that was the part of the story that I reread. And when I reread, the quote that I found was, if they only had fire, said Prometheus to himself, they could at least warm themselves and cook their food, and after a while they could learn to make tools and build themselves homes. So what I want you to notice is that my quote supports my answer. I have it inside these lovely quotation marks, and I wrote a page number at the end. Make sure you're doing all of those things in your response. Now it's your turn. When I say pause, you can go ahead and pause the video, look for your evidence, and paste it in your digital worksheet. If you have any questions about how to find your evidence, again, call me or text me. Now it's your turn. Pause the video, find that evidence. All right, I'm glad you're back. In order for you to be on track, at this point, you should have your own writing underneath where it says make your claim, your own writing underneath where it says give your reasons, and your own writing, or actually a quote from the text, underneath where it says provide evidence. All 3 of these sections should be filled out in order for you to be on track. It should look a little bit something like I have. All right, our next step, our final step, is our explanation. For your explanation, you're first taking a second to pause, think through how it is that your evidence connects to your answer, and then second, explain your evidence in a complete sentence. So when I was doing this, I paused, and I remembered when I was choosing my evidence, I was really focused on Prometheus's motivations. That was why my quote connected back to my answer, was because it showed why Prometheus did what he did. So that was what I really wanted to focus on in my explanation. So I wrote, this quote shows that Prometheus wanted to help humans get warm and cook food. It is clear that these are good things to want, so therefore Prometheus is in the right. So I focused on why Prometheus did what he did, because that was the connection between my evidence and my answer. All right, now when I say pause, it's going to be your turn to go back to your digital worksheet, think through why your evidence connects to your answer, and then explain it in a complete sentence. All right, pause, go ahead and do your explanation. Wonderful. I'm glad you're back. In order to be on track and ready to finish your English work for today, you should have your claim, your own writing under where it says make your claim, your own writing under where it says give your reasons, a quote from the text where it says provide evidence, and your own writing under where it says explain your evidence. If you have all 4 of these sections filled out and you took notes on your do now, you're done and you should be happy with your ELA grade for the day. Go ahead and click that turn in button on the top of Google Classroom and you are done with English for today. Great work, and thank you for working so hard today. If I can figure out how to stop this recording. And goodbye, enjoy the rest of your day.